Today we have an updated Essentials mod list for Crusader Kings 3. So all of these mods work together without issue, and as these will be the exact mods I'll be using in all of my videos from now on, none of these mods do any major game-changing things, mostly quality of life improvement, UI changes, and some flavor throughout the world. And as usual, Steam Workshop link in the description. And if you like these types of videos, consider subscribing. Thank you. Now, first up is the only exception to what I just said, as I may not use it in all of my videos, as it does change a lot about how the game looks, and might be confusing for some people to watch, but I absolutely love how quick UI looks. It's added the console version of the character circle in the top left, which is something I've always really liked the look of, and makes the character screen way bigger, as well as many changes to how the current UI looks and feels. And it's something I've been using a lot in my own time, but yeah, there's not a lot I can say about it. You can literally see the difference, but it does come with some themes too, so yeah, I 100% recommend checking it out. Now for the mods I'll definitely be using. First is a mod I've been using all my videos already, and get asked every video which mod this is. Interfaces King is a mod I literally cannot play without. It adds colors to characters' names, which represents their rank, as well as a matching portrait background. Adding in icons throughout the UI, such as the current situations tab, categories for court positions, as well as more vibrance throughout the menus, and just a lot more. Next up, Nameplates adds a character's name, their title, opinion of you, and if they have any relation to you in events, making event chains just way easier to follow. Better Battles makes leading your armies actually mean something by adding a massive variety of events during battles and even sieges, putting you in situations where you are surrounded. You can try and fight, call your guards, or run. This can make dying in battle slightly more likely, as there's just more opportunities for it to happen, but each battle will now feel different from one another, adding to your character's story. CK3 Dark theme simply makes the menus darker. I know, mind-blowing, but seriously, it looks way nicer to me. And there's also a few other colors like red and blue, but I'm a hobbit and prefer the darkness. Next up, we have Prisoners of War, which completely changes how prisoners are taken, as when captured during sieges, they now attach to that army and will only go into prisons once that army reaches friendly territory. But be aware, if you lose a battle before returning home, the prisoners will be freed. As well as just making a lot of sense, it adds an entire new layer of strategy to wars, allowing you to chase down armies that have your family and rescue them, while also sometimes forcing you to retreat if you capture an enemy heir. Patrum Scuta returns from CK2, adding many changes to the current coat of arms, reworking a lot of them and adding quite a few different shapes that they can be. All of them look fantastic. I'm sure it's personal taste, but you can see the differences for yourself. Night Manager is one of the best quality of life mods. Like, I am terrible for forgetting to forbid my children and amazing counselors from serving as knights. So this adds 9 categories that you can forbid and just completely forget about having to mess with ever again. I typically stop my offspring, heir, and counsel, and if I do have enough decent-ish knights to choose from, I'll also forbid bad fighters as well. This just stops anyone with under 6 prowess from serving. Now, next up, holding Sprawl is just for the looks and will not really be noticeable early game, but it shows things that are built in holdings on the actual world map. So over time, countries go from just a few castles to sprawling cities covered in buildings. And to admire these new buildings, a better camera zoom lets you get way closer to the map. Not exactly useful for gameplay, but nice either way. Now, Rice is the best mod to add tons of flavor across the map. Like, Cybrix Khan has done a brilliant job with this. So far, there's 25 flavor packs included, each focusing on specific areas of the map, adding events, buildings, decisions, and most insanely, an entire struggle for Greenland, with a bunch of unique mechanics that make it possible to do even though it's not actually on the map. I have done a full video on that, so I'll leave it linked if you do want to check it out. Now, often it just feels like factions start for no reason, especially for newer players. So Factions Explained adds a new icon that you can hover over and quickly understand the reasons they've joined, giving you a chance to fix these big issues before all hell breaks loose and you lose everything. Population variations makes a surprising difference, as a lot of the courtiers often feel quite similar to each other, rarely having something unique about them. This completely changes that, increasing the likelihood of traits like mystics, hunters, adventurers, and also characters above 30 are more likely to spawn with injuries and be one-eyed, one-legged, and so on. Basically, characters will now have bigger differences in them, making them infinitely more interesting. Multilingual Education allows you to select up to 3 different languages to be taught, although somebody must speak these languages in your court to teach them. But once selected, the children at your court will attempt to learn them. Of course, some will fail, but choosing active learning makes it way more likely that they'll succeed at a cost of their stress levels. Now, for some other nice UI changes, Extended Outliner adds a bunch of extra information, like a pinned character's opinion of you, their health, current army size, and similarly, the domain holdings also has way more information. My favorite thing though is the green bar showing the current construction progress. And next is dynamic character background, simply changing the background to match where a character actually is. So if they're out with their armies on some fields, it will actually be displayed. Just a nice little change that adds some color and variety to the menus. Okay, now we have 3 mods I'm sure everybody was expecting. First, Fullscreen Barbershop makes it go from this to this. Yes, the difference is actually insane and a mod I run every single time I play. But if you pair it with the community flavor pack and ethnicities and portraits expanded, which each add many new clothing items to the game, which further makes each character stand out from one another. But yeah, that's it for this mod list. I didn't want to change the game drastically in any way, but as usual, the Steam Workshop collection will be linked in the description. And if you found this helpful, do consider subscribing. But as usual, I'm going to end the video with a massive thank you to all the channel members. We have Intermio1, Toxic Flame, Caesar, and Mr. Diesel. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.